So if you've been keeping up with War Thunder, you might be like, Dawg, the War Thunder update has just come out, and you would be correct. But War Thunder has already released the devlogs for a new crafting event, which is coming on the 26th of September. Now in this video, we're just going to be covering what I think of the vehicles and as well as just, how I kind of think of the event. I will be doing a video later whenever the event actually comes out for the devlog of it, where you can see what your requirements are to get these vehicles, and then we'll talk about it then. But a big thing to talk about is that this event is a crafting event. So most likely you're going to have to use the market if you want to get everything whenever it comes to this. This could possibly change, which I hope it does. But at the same time, it is just an event which takes a huge time investment of you to actually get these vehicles. So overall, this event is just one of those things, it's just a time sink. So if you don't have the time to do it, especially right now with people going back to school and college and as well as just doing all sort of work stuff, if you don't have the time, don't invest into it. It's just a video game, and you can possibly get it in the future by either getting it with, money, or, maybe you have free time in the future where you're able to sell a different event vehicle that you grind out, where then you can get the LOSAT or any of these wonderful vehicles which are coming. So to talk about it, let's talk about the vehicles first. So you're getting the KF-48, which is coming with a cool little ATGM missile type thing that you're able to drop, and we'll show some of the stats because they have been data mined of this thing. You also have the LOSAT, you have the battle cruiser Kurama, and as well as you have the F100F. Now, as you can tell, the at least selection to me with this event is kind of poor. And what I mean by that is that the KF-48 is probably going to be the low tier reward, which is most likely going to be the easiest one to get. The battle cruiser Kurama, it kind of seems like something that not many are going to go after, and as well as the F100F, which is another vehicle that I don't really think a ton of people are going to go after because, once again, it's for China. It's a vehicle that's kind of not needed whenever it comes to the Chinese tech trees, because you have a ton of other things that you can actually use within that battle rating of China whenever it comes to ground attackers and as well as just better fighters. You have the F100, and then you also have the F104A. So is it going to be something that people want to get? Maybe, but at the end of the day, I highly suspect a lot of you are probably just going to go after the LOSAT, which is going to be a very interesting thing. So let's start out with the KF-48. So there will be time cards if you just want to skip just a certain vehicle, but the KF-48 seems kind of interesting with its new little missile thing. It kind of seems like it might be effective. I'm not really sure about it, because at the end of the day, it kind of seems one of those things, because you're not having any like standoff equipment that actually help guide it in. It might be a little bit hard to do, especially with SPA and also other planes shooting at you. Another thing to note for the KF-48 is that it's coming in as a premium, so it's going to be the only premium reward of this whole entire event. So at the end of the day, it might be something that's very good for grinding out Japan if you've not had the opportunity to grind some of the stuff out. So another thing to note is that the thing is coming in at rank 2, so it's not going to be a great premium, and it's also coming in at a battle rating of 2.3, so it's going to be insanely low for what it is. And also, the little rocket thing has 400 millimeters of pen, so anything it drops in the air should be able to just die whenever it gets hit by it, which should be pretty cool. Now, the LOSAT is coming in at a battle rating of 10.3. It's also supposed to be rank 7, but from the data mines, it is at least rank 6 right now. So is it going to be changed? Maybe, but hopefully it does get changed whenever it comes to that area of the game. But the LOSAT is pretty interesting because it's one of the most unique vehicles that probably will ever come to an event vehicle within War Thunder, because there's not really many kinetic energy ATGM carriers within just the world itself. So basically what this thing is it's ATGM that can travel at hypersonic speed, that once it gets to its max speed should just be able to annihilate anything it comes in contact with, because you're pretty much throwing a huge projectile at a vehicle at insane speed. So if you want to see what this looks like, watch this video now. So after you watch that tank completely get annihilated, as you can see, it should just kill anything whenever it comes to War Thunder. For the stat card at least, it's saying it has around, I believe, 700 and something millimeters of pen. Yeah, like 775. So easily should be able to deal with anything within the game. And the reason of why this thing is so effective is because its projectile mass, at least in game right now, is 78.92, which, if you think about it, that is insane for an APFSDS or a ATGM in general, and also is going to have an insane speed of 1500 meters a second, which is going to be crazy This thing should be overall good. It is going to be very situational though, because you're not going to be able to just run around inside of a city with this thing. And also it is lightly armored, so whenever someone hits one of these AT gem carriers, we have to see how it performs or how it reacts to getting hit. But it should just blow up the whole entire tank, so we will have to see. You do have 12 of these things though, so you should be able to do pretty well. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see how this does, and hopefully it does pretty well. Now, I'm not the best whenever it comes to ships, but Takuma's coming to game, and it's going to be rank 5. It's going to have some 305s, and it should be pretty decent for what it is. I know that's probably going to get wrecked by just stuff that's bigger than it, and that's pretty much how naval goes whenever it comes to that thing. But overall, should be pretty interesting to see within War Thunder. And I know all of the Japanese mains are going to get this because it is a Japanese vehicle. That's the only thing I know about this vehicle, and if you want to add anything in the comments for this, definitely do that. And then finally, we have the F100F Super Sabre, which is coming for good old China whenever it comes to their tech tree. So it's going to be 9.3. It's going to be rank 6 as well, and it should be a pretty decent cast aircraft whenever it comes to everything. But a reminder of this, whenever these event vehicles come out for War Thunder, of where they're purely cast planes, like for example the SU-25 or stuff like the A7K, you got to remember that there's a stock grind associated with these things. So majority of the time they're not great in ARB, but their whole purpose is to be a ground attacker whenever it comes to everything. So the F100F is a pretty interesting story because, well, they basically want to make a trainer version of the F100 because, once again, if you didn't know, these things used to crash a lot. So they wanted to be able to help pilots train, but it actually turned into a dual strike aircraft, which is pretty interesting whenever it comes to that. Also, another thing to note is that this thing could carry AIM-9Ps, which could come in the future for it if it's definitely underperforming, but Gaijin has taken the liberty of actually not adding these so it doesn't go into a BR where it would actually need flares to evade stuff whenever it comes to War Thunder, so which is a pretty interesting take whenever it comes to that. So yeah, overall, my opinion is that the LOSAT is going to be the one that everyone goes after. The F100F, especially if you need something for China, especially if you're in the high tiers of China for ground, might be something that you want to get to have some sort of cast aircraft. And then the plane is probably going to be the low tier reward that everyone's kind of gets. And then the battle cruiser for Takuma, which will be just something every weeb or every Japanese man gets. So that's my opinion on this event. What do you guys think about it? Are you actually going to do it? Is it something that you actually have time to do? Or are you just kind of tired of these types of events and would like to see something else within War Thunder? So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next War Thunder video.